Thank you for staying with us. Now, when many of us think about estate planning, we immediately think about making a will. Well, a will is an integral part of it, but it's not all. There's more to that. And joining us this morning to tell us all about that is the head private trust, FBNQuest trustees, Mr. Rotimi Obende. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be back.
So you say I have made a will and it's not enough?
It's not enough.
Okay, so what else do I need?
Okay, so let me start by saying that a will is just one of the many instruments that you can use to plan your estate.
Okay.
Estate means the assets or wealth that you have, and the planning has to then do with inheritance. But you see, a will does not come into effect until the writer has passed. Mm-hmm. So imagine a situation if I become incapacitated. I've written my will, I become incapacitated. What do I do? Imagine a situation where I can no longer sign checks, maybe because as a result of old age. What do I then
Fingerprint.
do? But it's not written in my will. So that's why we say that just having a will is not enough. You need other estate planning instruments that can help in situations like that. So you're looking at, example, a trust or a medical power of attorney or a financial power of attorney.
What is medical power of attorney, please? You're smiling. Well, okay. You need to explain everything to us.
I agree, I need to explain everything. So I talked about when somebody falls ill, for example. One of the guests that we had, imagine when they had cancer. If he was not able to take that decision by himself, he would need somebody to help him take it. So you need to be able to donate that power to somebody else. That's the medical power of attorney, such that if you become incapacitated or you are unable to take medical decisions yourself, there's somebody that is helping you to take that decision.
Okay, in answering my first question, you mentioned the word trust.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Okay, so many people would assume because I work with FBNQuest trustees, I'm talking trust. Or they will just generally say, if I trust you, you trust me. So, but it's much deeper than that. It's just a concept, and it's an instrument, also an estate planning instrument that I can use, but it kickstarts in my lifetime. So imagine your assets, you give it to a trustee to help you to manage in your lifetime, such that all the decisions you take in your lifetime, you take them. But when you are no longer there, those decisions that you ordinarily would have taken, another person is taking those decisions on your behalf. So you have moved your asset to the trust in your lifetime, managed by the trustee. And you can set up a trust for many reasons. You can set up a trust for education, you can set up a trust for your health care needs. You can even set up a funeral trust. Again, let me just circle back on the guest that I talked about. He has a 2-year-old son, or had a 2-year-old son at the time
that he was diagnosed. Yes.
So what would have happened in such situations? Who would then be responsible for taking the decisions on education? Who will be paying the school fees? I can set up a trust to accommodate all of that. I can set up a trust to take care of my spouse, ensure that she gets monthly allowances if I'm not there. So there are a lot of things, even for my kids when they're at school, I can set up a trust that takes care of their allowances, takes care of their tuition, takes care if they are traveling outside the country. The trust takes care of everything that they need for their entire education.
Talking about trust, so I know that a lot of Nigerians, or some Nigerians, can be skeptical when it comes to you having, to put things down and hoping that someone is going to implement them when you are not around. So you said the trust is going to be implemented by someone. Does it mean that it is that someone, or there's a document that anybody within that trust, initiative is able to work on?
Okay, so once you create a trust, it comes with what we call the trust deed. That's a legal document that binds you and binds the institution, let's say FBNQuest trustees. And it spells out the details, what can be done, what cannot be done, your rights and your responsibilities. Now, because it's set up during your lifetime, the trustee follows every single thing that you have put in place. Now, there's a third party or a fourth party, let me say fourth party, that we call a trust protector. It is then the responsibility of the trust protector to monitor what the trustee is doing. So it gives you comfort. So whether you're there or not, there's somebody checking and ensuring that the trustee is doing what they are meant to do.
Now, one more question. Do I instruct the trustee? Okay, let's take FBNQuest, for instance. Do I instruct them what I want them to do, what decisions I want them to take, or they take the initiative when I'm no longer there or when I'm no longer able to take decisions? Is it on their own initiative or things that we would have agreed on while I was sound of mind and body?
There are some things that you would have agreed on that the trustee will continue to implement.
Okay.
There are some also that you would leave a provision for the trustee to be able to then take those decisions. So I'll give you an example. I talked about leaving allowances for my spouse or my children. If I say that when I'm no longer there, make increases in those amounts that I've already set aside by inflation. Now, it's the responsibility of the trustee to then use their initiative. What's inflation rate? What's the FX rate currently doing? Do the maths, and then increase whatever allowances are put in place for them. So it can be both ways. But what is key about trust is the fact that there are certain elements that cannot change. So if I set up an objective, for example, an object of the trust, if it's for education, or if it's for investment, or if it's for welfare of medicals, the trustee cannot take a decision outside those circles. The trustee cannot say, okay, they want to do the remembrance of Rotimi Obende's great-great-grandfather and then provide funds to the family. It's not going to happen because it is not part of the object of the trust. If, for example, one of my kids suddenly misbehaves and then is a spendthrift and then comes to the trust and say, I want you to pay creditors because my father left money for me in a trust account. The trustee is not going to do that because it is not part of the object of the trust. So I am mandated to follow the object of the trust every single time.
So, so if I'm going to have a trust or like have a plan now, that means I would expose you to my accounts, right? So that even, for instance, I'm not there, you are able to. I just want to, know how it works.
If you are going to set up a trust, you are not exposing me to your accounts. Okay. You have your accounts. You then have an account with FBNQuest trustees. Even if you are going to have a will, in your will, what you just do is provide us with the details. So the name of the account, the branch, the bank, and your BVN. We are not bothered with how much you have left there. The institution that's concerned with how much you have left there is what we call probate, the probate registry, because they will take a certain percentage if you have a will as an inheritance tax. My responsibility is to know the assets that you have and ensure that those assets are captured in your estate plan. So you maintain
and
your
I've also
accounts.
Included you in that plan.
Oh yes, because I'm the one that will be managing the plan, obviously. So you have your accounts, you continue to run your account, but you then also have an account with us. Why are we saying you should have a trust arrangement? And why are we also saying that you need more than a will? Is because of the fact that if you followed Mike on podcast, which is a podcast by a good friend of mine, a particular young man has appeared twice now, and he's talked about the fact that his dad had a will, and because his dad had only a will, the brother that was named as the executor of the will is no longer giving any of the siblings anything. As a matter of fact, he said they've not gotten anything. That's not the intention of his dad. That was not the intention of his dad. But if his dad had a trust, the elder brother cannot unilaterally decide who gets what or who does not get anything. It is the responsibility of the trustee And that responsibility is tied to the terms of the trust that the trustee is expected to manage.
So how do you guys in FBNQuest help people settle this up and also protect the subject's family and their assets?
Okay, so first we try and educate people and let them understand the advantages and disadvantages of any instrument that you decide to use. So once that is done, if you decide that you want to have a trust, for example, we understand what your objectives are. We let you know clearly that this is achievable, this is not achievable. We then set up that plan and you monitor it, because a trust is activated in your lifetime, again, unlike a will. Now, in terms of ensuring that beneficiaries get what they are supposed to get, that's why I talked
according
about,
to the will.
No, not the will, the trust.
The trust.
According to the trust.
Okay.
Now, the will is a different subject. Because
can they go side by side?
Oh, they should actually go side by side. What we advise is that you have both. Depending on how advanced you are, you should actually have the four: a will, a trust, a power of attorney, and a medical power of attorney and a financial power of attorney.
Okay, you have explained the medical one in case I become incapacitated.
The financial
one.
Yeah, in case you are no longer able to sign your signature. Correct.
Well, in that case, I will put in my...
So your trust helps you to then be able to do that?
No, I will put that I will then thumbprint.
Okay, so if you then put that you thumbprint, imagine if any of your siblings or somebody like me comes to you and give you a paper, you are not able to read and understand. I just take your hand you know the way some people used to do, they want to check your phone.
Ouch.
And they think that you are sleeping. So they take your hand and put in your phone to activate it. It can happen. You then need a trusted institution to avoid all of that. We've seen a lot, and it's something that we then advise people to.
Okay, so how does one go about setting up
an estate plan?
An estate plan, yes.
First thing is to call us at FBNQuest Trustees. You can obviously call us on 08054
08054 299. Okay.
Or you can reach us on any of our socials at FBNQuest.
Okay.
Yeah.
The number again, just in case you're interested, 0805 400299. 0805 4000299. That's their number in case you want to reach them to set up your estate plan. Yes.
So you were going to talk about, how to do the setup.
Okay, so if you call me on that number, we have a conversation. I then send you a form. You fill the form, you return it back to me. From the form, we can then draft a trust deed or a will for you. You will review. Once you certify that what you have seen is the right plan for you, you then go to the execution stage. You then go to funding your plan. If it's a trust that you have created, you fund it. You can fund it with properties, with cash, or with other forms of investments. Once that is
I thought it was only a lawyer that could draw up a will.
Okay, so we have lawyers at FBNQuest Trustees. And we are licensed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see why I would come to a lawyer. Most people prefer to use lawyers that are known to them. So why would I go to a neutral place like FBNQuest? I'm just one of many customers, and tell them to draw up my will for me.
Okay, so I'll talk about the fact that you're dealing with an institution that is reputable. You're dealing with an institution that has been there for more than 47 years. That is backed by another institution that has been there for more than 130 years. A combination of both. I'm also telling you about the fact that if it's
Chief
in terms
marketer.
of experience.
Chief marketer, First Bank and FBNQuest. Well done, well done.
If it's in terms of experience, I have for just working with FBNQuest Trustees, 16 years experience just with FBNQuest Trustees. If I multiply that across the company, you're looking at experience that is close to 300 years. I'm not too sure if a lawyer will give you experience of close to 300 years. Again, but don't forget the fact that we have lawyers at FBNQuest Trustee.
Okay, so once again, if you're interested in setting up your estate plan and you want to use FBNQuest, based on the marketing that he's just done about FBNQuest and FBN, the number is actually displayed on the screen, so you can reach them.
And you have a website too?
Yeah, FBNQuest.com.
Okay.
And what is this legacy series at FBNQuest.com?
Okay, so in a bid to help people and help amplify this message of estate planning, because we don't want people fighting, and we also don't want a situation where if I come to channels, for example, I'm using your family story to amplify my market, to sell my market. We're telling you to set up an estate plan. There are a number of other avenues that we do that. One of such is the Legacy series on radio.
Okay.
We also then have the Legacy Room on YouTube. So you find a lot of information out there for people to be able to connect to this small market that I'm selling.
Mr. Rotimi Obende,
if we want to
Private
remember,
Trust, FBNQuest Trustees, otherwise known as the Chief Marketer.
and he has told us that we should have estate plan, which would involve the will, the trust, the medical power of attorney, and the financial power of attorney. Okay, you know.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you will hear from a few of us in the course of this week, because the marketing job was done very well. Well done, well done.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and we'll be right back in just a moment with the lifestyle segment. Don't go away.